Hello, class. Here we are again. This week covering chapter 11. And for this week, our discussion, we're asked to discuss how can you master decision making and creativity skills. So, starting off with the first one, decision making skills. So, for this one, the way I look at decision making, I kind of tie it back with uh, the topic of leadership, or like the trait of leadership. Um, so, obviously, when you're a leader, you do have to make a lot of decisions, and I feel like decision making ties back directly to leadership. Like I said, um, not everyone is kind of cut out to be a leader, in my opinion. Um, but I think that a lot of people do end up, they do become leaders as they grow up. Um, and obviously, with tying this back to decision making, it can kind of also come with practice. I think that decision making can improve, or you can master decision making kind of with practice as well. Um, I guess I kind of go back to my words on not everyone's cut out to be a leader. I think that is true, but then I also do think that obviously, with practice you can obviously perfect anything. Um, I do just think that there are some natural born leaders that obviously decision making comes easier too. Um, but yeah, I think you can master it as well with practice. Obviously starting out with small decisions, so like whether it be at work, or just in everyday life to life decisions, kind of being more confident and more, I guess, precise with your decisions, and then gradually moving up, with severity. Um, yeah, I think that that's one of them. Uh, I think another way kind of to master decision making is to kind of learn how to evaluate situations, kind of step back and look at things in a better view. Uh, Obviously decision making has a lot of factors that, play into it. But I think that if you know how to remain calm and kind of, step back onto a situation and look back into things more carefully, then I think you are able to master, decision making as well. Yeah, I think that's it for that one. Then creativity skills. So I think that mastering creativity skills, it's a little bit more complex than decision making. Just because, like how I said, there are natural born leaders that are good at decision making. I also think that there are natural born, creative people that are obviously more, prone to actually being creative. Like me myself, I wouldn't say I'm like the most creative person, or even at least a creative person in general. Um, but I will become creative, if I'm kind of pushed towards it or if I'm forced into it. But like off the top of my head, I'm not, the most super creative person ever. Um, I think this kind of, it's a little bit more complex, like I said, because it is a little harder to, kind of analyze and stuff. But for creativity, I guess just practicing, being creative, and then obviously, experimenting. So, with being creative, you do want to experiment and kind of get out of your comfort zone. And as long as you get out of your comfort zone, then I feel like you are bound to become creative. So I do think that's another thing, kind of getting out of your comfort zone and kind of, pushing your limits. That could also, spark a lot of creativity. Um, and yeah, I think those are the methods that I, could think of off the top of my head, when it comes to decision making and creativity skills. And yeah, thank you for your time.